"Hey gang, drop your thoughts and dive in." When assassins closed in, thinking he was finished, the hero didn't even flinch. He calmly told them to drop their blades and walk away while they could. The mercenaries sneered, thinking he was just a kid. Quietly, he drew his sword. They rushed him, yelling, sure, their numbers would win. But he blocked their attacks smoothly, standing his ground. Then his gaze glimmered. He spotted every flaw instantly, cutting them down with ruthless speed. In seconds, only corpses surrounded him. Yuniel fought like this thanks to demon arts and chi flowing in him. But his journey started nothing like this. An old grandfather discovered him frozen and fading in the snow. The old man showed him the art of embalming. He never left his side, believing in him until fate struck. One day, a stranger accused the grandfather of betraying the demon palace. To protect others, they vanished into the forest. The hero, sensing danger, sprinted out, but arrived too late. By an ancient tree, he found his grandfather dying. He rushed over. Yuniel tried to speak through tears, but the old man only apologized. He confessed his last moments were near. Even as he warned Yuniel to avoid an undertaker's path, blood choked him. Yuniel begged him to stop, but the old man demanded he listen to his real name and final words. Before dying, he commanded Yuniel not to seek revenge. The command stunned Yuniel. He tried refusing without thinking. Racked with pain and fury, Yuniel vowed never to forgive those guilty. Cradling his grandfather, Yuniel couldn't accept being left behind. He sobbed that life without his grandfather felt like a nightmare, wanting to join him rather than stay alone. The old man absorbed it, his silence desperate. He once thought death would free him, but instead begged Yuniel to run and live. Dying, he told Yuniel their life together made him happy. He faded, his strength gone. The old undertaker died in Yuniel's embrace. Yuniel barely grasped his grandfather's death. His stillness made loss real, and sorrow hollowed Yuniel to cold numbness. Shock chilled that emptiness to ice. Grief hardened. Yuniel's face turned cold and blank. Later, Yuniel sees the no revenge rule was just for his safety. Yet calm hands work while Yuniel rejects that final wish deep down. Grief sparks into a fierce urge for vengeance. Studying the corpse, Yuniel notes both arms were severed in one blow. The angle exposes a rare downward sword motion, but he spots another clue. Mid-strike, the killer also stabbed out his grandfather's eyes. Yuniel smiles grimly at this brutal signature. He knows this sword style isn't ordinary at all. Those wounds scream of a demonic path, Tanju Yoga. He counts 93 hidden weapon impacts, more than any common technique. So, he's sure it was one attacker using an overwhelming hidden weapon. He checks under the tongue for subtler clues. Dark fingernails reveal even more. A cruel, deadly toxin was rotting his grandfather from within. Pulling it all together, Yuniel knows the killers from the demonic path, Tianu Yoga. The killer has a top-notch secret weapon and uses lethal, rotten poisons, narrowing the suspect list. Yuniel quietly promises himself to hunt this monster down. His grandfather's now peaceful face steals Yuniel's resolve as he briefly shuts his eyes. He vows nothing will keep him from finding the murderer. A single tear lands on the Demon Palace contest application. His fate is now tethered to the Demon Palace by that name. Back now, Yuniel stands by two officials. One sneers at the Janyang clan as weak and guesses Yuniel will run once he sees the contract giving up control. He's about to dismiss Yuniel, but freezes as Yuniel acts instantly. Yuniel bites his finger, signs in blood, eyes flaming with intent. The officials are shocked by his boldness. He recalls the moment his grandfather died. That old life ended with him. Now only revenge drives him. As the officials react, Yuniel sees the contest not as a chance, but as his weapon. He decides the contest is his first step, while Murim remains split between orthodox and unorthodox factions. The Murim alliance leads the orthodox side in the name of justice, while the Demon Palace, obsessed with might, leads the unorthodox. These rivals were locked in check for ages, but the orthodox tried to dominate, raising 18 martial masters, upsetting the stable balance. The Demon Palace fired back, plotting to match their strength. The birth of the 10 Demon Masters. The Demon Palace declared it would train 10 talents from anywhere in the skills of the 10 demonic sects. Hearing this, Yuniel finally saw his way forward. Hordes of determined competitors rushed to join. Many fierce standouts are already in the running. Yuniel scouts them all, looking for any hint guiding him to his grandfather's murderer. He feels strong auras from several and grows sure that one holds the key. Faces in the crowd blur with that hooded killer's image, narrowing his suspects. He becomes obsessed with the murderer hiding among them. Yet he knows the culprit is a martial master, far beyond his power now. So, he decides revenge is impossible without first mastering martial arts himself. That's why becoming one of the 10 demon masters is his quickest path to power. Nearby, applicants gasp as the event finally starts. A squad of Demon Palace enforcers storms in, leading a commanding elder who silences the courtyard. He names himself his chief instructor, Hyak Rayong, also called Gold Dagger Blood Eyes. The crowd reels, stunned by his presence. Hyak Rayong announces this place is for finding the demonic sect's true prodigies. He warns only those surviving every Demon Palace trial become 10 Demon Master candidates. candidates. Yuniel listens, unfazed, as the first test is revealed. The initial trial, Hayak Rayon explains, is hands-on inspection by Demon Palace martial artists. The crowd yells that an inspection isn't a real contest. The enforcers shut it down, dragging protesters away with zero pity. Those passing get a silent nod to continue. Yuniel registers the rule and realizes passing sends you straight to the next step. Then he spots a black-clad inspector and immediately recognizes him. As the inspector's hand comes close, Yuniel is sure his search has finally ended. A frail young man with a wooden box is halted and thoroughly checked right before things begin. An examiner instantly senses something off. He quickly decides this boy doesn't stand a chance. He can't fathom why the boy bothered. But the boy shows a chilling, killing intent. The examiner senses real murderous will. This isn't a bluff. Even so, the examiner sticks with duty, denying the boy passage based on that alone. The boy stays cool, like he expected refusal all along. He knows all he understands is handling corpses, not fighting. By usual rules, there's no way he could clear a martial trial. Still, he refuses to accept this is the end for him. As he steels his nerves, the first trial suddenly ends. The abrupt finish leaves the competitor in shock. An enraged contestant stands up and attacks the result as unfair. He argues that judging by brute strength alone ruins any point to this contest. The old master shoots that down with frigid disdain. He snaps that strong bodies are the roots of martial arts, and this contest seeks only the naturally talented. While the protester pleads, the master relents on his strict terms. His stare silences the crowd. His comfort drips with threat. He promises a trial for the untalented survivors who prove themselves win. No time to recover. The next challenge starts instantly. The ruthless rule, fight and survive. The master says only one lives. Contestants shrink away, horrified at killing each other. But for one driven fighter, this rule means freedom. Certain that violence means his rise, he welcomes the trial. He chooses the quiet boy carrying the box as his first target. He grabs his weapon, ready and set for blood. Eyes cold, he lifts a heavy sword, aiming to kill. He charges the boy and claims him as first prey. Only at the last second does the boy notice danger. The blade falls fast, nobody can save him in time. Before impact, a red-haired fighter jumps in and blocks. The attacker shouts that he's craved this rivalry kill. The red-haired fighter identifies him as Wong and moves even though hurt. W. Chung fells the fighter instantly with a merciless strike. Horror sweeps the crowd as real killing breaks loose. The quiet boy coolly analyzes the deadly move. Details clear. He judges Wong swift but weak and watches his brash boasting. The masters call Wong quick but reckless. Now everyone's looking at him. An examiner thinks show-offs become targets, but expects bloodshed to follow. In the panicking mob, the quiet boy knows careful action means survival. Full chaos erupts as fear drives desperate slashes, and oblivion hits the latest victim. Wong takes his life like it's nothing, brushing aside the bother. The old master observes that the younger ones can't handle seeing death. Chaos erupts. Screaming, blood, and raw violence fill the courtyard. Some freeze in terror. Others attack blindly. Few try to fight smart, but discipline is fading. With death near, most minds shut down completely. This collapse grabs the old master's attention. He senses someone moving differently in the chaos. The examiner next to him also glimpses a secret logic. It's clear not everyone there is foolish. The quiet boy cleans his face, untouched by the frantic panic. From afar, he and another survivor keep their distance while the crowd tears itself apart. Corpses keep dropping around the pair. The boy scorns those who gave in to fear. Now, he sees them as victims, not fighters, devoured by dread. He recalls that surviving, not killing, was the master's real command. He forms a strategy. Keep calm and survive no matter what. A vision of a corpse strengthens his will. He shifts from fighting to silently studying bodies, just like in the morgue. Farther away, a swift swordsman cuts down opponents with ruthless speed. The swordsman spots the quiet boy and assumes he's just a weak coward. But the boy keeps analyzing wounds, piecing together the swordsman's technique, provoking him to target him outright. He throws a chained weight at the boy, who's still kneeling. The chain shatters the wooden box nearby. The box, dismissed as useless, is crushed right in front of him. The attacker jeers, thinking the box was just pointless weight. The boy stays silent, but losing it clearly hurts him. The shock drags him deep inside himself for a split second. From the ruins, he finds a short sword and a folded birthday note. His grandfather's message stabs harder than the enemy ever could. Grief and fury unlock his darkness. He stands, blade ready. The attacker senses danger at last, but keeps taunting him. He mocks the tiny sword, sure it poses no threat. Suddenly, a blindfolded swordsman appears, ending him instantly. The attacker dies not knowing how. The blindfolded man casually says saving him was easier than kindness. The boy just observes, not reacting. The swordsman admires his gaze, but says he isn't truly trained. He proves it, cutting down another threat without care. The boy studies every move, filing away details. The old master spots the extermination sword in his hand. He recognizes it as the legacy of the legendary Black Soul. He shares that Numwang Gang, the wielder, supposedly found Black Soul's hidden manual and blade. Numwang Gang trained alone, flawed but inheriting a ruthless legacy. So for now, He's Black Soul's only heir. The master thinks he's the top fighter, even without raw strength. Still, he warns Wang Gang is immature, not ready for full power, though none here match him. The examiner agrees, barring surprises. The boy then spies one body with crude cuts, unlike Wang Gang's style. That detail gives him the key clue. Wang Gang, covered in blood and calm, spots the surviving boy. He admits he never thought the frail-looking kid would survive. Now only they stand among corpses. The fight has narrowed to 2. Wang Gang says killing him will secure his place with the 10 demon masters and calls him forward. The boy gets to his feet, ready to face him. Silently, he judges Wang Gang the strongest left, but he's already spotted a weakness. With steady confidence, he decides to strike, gripping the short sword. His face hardens, pure determination in his eyes. He studies Wang Gang closely as lingering chaos dies behind them. He crouches low, focusing everything on one crucial bet. He convinces himself if he doesn't miss, he can win. He charges with his short blade, starting their last fight. Wang Gang greets the attack with playful interest. He darts in, attacking with shocking speed. Blades cut at the boy from all sides. Laughing, they mock how he only dodges and survives. But the examiner realizes the boy isn't just barely surviving. He's twisting just in time to turn fatal blows into shallow cuts. His body gets cut, but vital points remain safe. Even while bleeding, he keeps the single opening alive. Shock hits the examiner. The boy learned Wang Gang's patterns from studying the dead. The old master can't help but admire such focus and skill. The boy at last mocks Wang Gang's sloppy style, saying slashes only grazed him, never killing. The examiner sees through it. He's taunting for a full attack, because only a perfect opportunity will do. Incensed, Wang Gang snaps and decides to end him instantly. He unleashes everything. The boy knows this is his moment. He knows there's only this one chance, recalling dead bodies and lethal patterns. Wang Gang always goes for a vital point to finish. Every killing strike aims for head or heart, without fail. The boy bets his life on an attack to the chest. Too late, Wang Gang sees something off. The boy dives inward, stabbing at the weak spot by Wang Gang's neck. He remembers how his grandfather taught him about the Tien to acupoint. His grandfather said even top fighters couldn't always protect that spot. A good hit there drops anyone. The boy drives in, trusting all he's learned. The blow hits hard, stunning Wang Gang before his strike lands. Wang Gang goes rigid as his weakness is exploited. The boy moves fast and finishes him. Bleeding badly, he still lands the final blow. He stands alone among corpses. Realizing he's survived the fight, the examiner calls him the wild card who changed everything. The old master thought Black Soul's sword art would lead, but this win came from somewhere else. He declares Yuniel the victor of the second trial. Yuniel, covered in blood, stands changed by the ordeal. As her name is called, Yuniel stands firm, survivor of the test. In a blurred vision, an old man cries out for Yuniel, desperate to find her. Yuniel instantly replies, bursting with relief to hear her grandfather. She runs to him, saying she's right here, but he still doesn't see her, leaving her lost. A sudden sense of terror warns her that something's off. Her grandfather appears as a bloody shell, saying he can't sense her at all. The nightmare paralyzes Yuniel. She jerks awake in fear. Snapping back to real life, she finds herself on a ship with other survivors, under watchful eyes. The ship slices through stormy waves, pressing forward. Yuniel realizes she fainted from blood loss and wakes inside. Her wounds strangely healed. The demonic palace must have helped. Pushing it aside, she checks her surroundings and figures everyone around her passed the first trial. Their smug looks prove the disdain she always expected. Yuniel shrugs off their sneers and keeps her head low. A command to leave the ship cuts the tense silence. A palace attendant announces their arrival at the next trial ground. Hell Island is revealed as their stop as the ship docks. The attendant names the place Hell Island officially. She commands the remaining candidates to follow her ashore. They're led off the shore into wild cliffs and dense forests. At a rough settlement, the attendant gives them each a cave, tells them to dress up, and hands out swords. Candidates can choose any cave. Yuniel quietly surveys the space before picking. The air feels pleasant, but the fresh outfit squeezes her tight. Some scramble to claim better caves. Their silly fights make Yincio see they totally underestimate how savage the next round will be. She keeps watching, feeling her patience fade. The fancy clothes and neat manners tell her many come from elite clans. She realizes the trial wipes out candidates the sect can lose with no backlash. The attendant interrupts her thoughts, pressing her to hurry up. He singles Yuniel out, pushing her to move on and stop stalling. He calls her by name, making it clear he remembers how she survived. He quietly notes her odd way of looking at things, curious what she'll do, but urges her not to waste more time. Yuniel quickly points out a cave. Its tiny, shoddy entrance catches her eye. The others jeer at her for picking such a grime-filled place. The attendant gets why she chose it and nods in approval, seeing she recognized its worth instantly. He explains, the cave only seems bad because the tight way in hides what's inside. Inside, it's wide enough for training, and that small opening makes for an easy defense. He tells Yuniel nice work judging the cave and tells her to prepare. Yuniel slips into the black training clothes. Once all gather up, the attendant begins explaining Hell Island's purpose. Hell Island has 10 training centers. Each links to a martial art from the 10 demonic sexes. Candidates may focus on a single art or dive into each. It's totally their pick. They get full freedom to rest, hang out, train alone, or pick up new techniques. This sudden freedom feels suspicious, especially after the last ordeal. Meanwhile, others chat about which art to try first. Giddy. Many head right for the Fire Rain sword sect, riding on its power, drawn by its rep. Yuniel sees everyone veer that way, knowing nearly all are heading straight there. The Fire Rain's sword sex lures them like wildfire. Yuniel sees the attraction, but she's never depended on martial arts or craved their prestige. A fragment of memory distracts her. Remembering what matters most, Yuniel leaves the crowd on her terms. She moves quickly through the woods toward a hidden building. She instantly recognizes it, her suspicion confirmed. She knows this was her destination all along. It's the Wandering Beast Pavilion, a sect now barely clinging to top 10 status. It lingers in memory only for its top masters. Yuniel remembers tales from her grandfather about the pavilion when he spoke of the Murim. She steels herself to commit, but feels a strange shift under her feet. The earth moves. A hidden presence bursts up, catching her off guard. A man, earthen-bound, emerges. He's Sawu, secret master of the pavilion, asking if she's here to join the 10 demon masters. Yuniel blinks at the bizarre master as he rises, pulling herself together fast. She respectfully explains she wants to learn the pavilion's martial arts. Her honesty creates a heavy, awkward pause. Sawu eyes her sharply, wary and suspicious. He climbs further up, making his authority clear. His interest turns hard, shifting to mocking laughter. Sawu scoffs, tells her not to race towards death, and calls her weak. Yuniel shoots back that the pavilion's skills ensure survival, exactly what she seeks. Sawu warns even prodigies struggle. Since the art reshapes the body, she'd die in a day. He orders her to go if she gets it. Instead, Yuniel bows unyielding. She boldly claims his acceptance means she now owes respect to her new master. Stunned, Sawu mumbles that she must be crazy. Despite himself, he starts thinking differently about her. Ultimately, Sawu agrees to train her, though he insists it's only due to the Demon Palace's orders. He tells her he's Sawu, Pavilion Master, and orders her to call him Mr. Sa-Ti. When Yuniel tries to introduce herself, he cuts her off immediately. In his eyes, she's nobody special yet, just trainee 1. Sawu wastes no time. Her training starts instantly. Intensity rattles Yuniel at the lesson's fierce start. His actions bombard her senses until she's overwhelmed. Total darkness swallows her sight. Blinded, Yuniel's panic spikes. She can't see at all. Sa soothes her fear, telling her to stay calm. He says he sealed her sight using a secret technique from the Wandering Night Pavilion, calling it essential for learning the Wandering Beast Path. He promises the Wandering Beast Path triggers animal instincts in every sense and gives beast-like reflexes, warning the core path is tough because it shifts with each person. Few dare to try, and the art lies nearly lost. But if she succeeds, her reward will be incredible. He reveals the ultimate goal to her. She'll gain a beast's senses, but he adds most don't survive long enough to achieve it. He steps back, challenging her to face darkness alone. Sao tells her adaptation should come within an hour and leaves, promising he'll be back. The training ground falls still as he exits. Yuniel quickly notices losing sight hasn't awoken any other senses. When Sao comes back, she realizes she's failed to adapt on time. She knows no easy fixes left, so her only chance is to push herself and survive. She pushes through darkness by crawling, tripping, fighting imaginary attacks like she's actually becoming a demon master. She morphs her training into a battle to stay alive. In her mind, danger lurks as a hidden foe strikes from the shadows. That threat fuels her, forcing wild dodges and survival-driven movements. Her body learns that balance is everything without sight to guide her. Night rolls in while she trains under open sky. Sawu returns, expecting to see failure, but instead, he finds her moving solo across the field. He's shocked by her unusual method. Unlike most trainees, Yuniel battles imaginary threats to adapt. Watching her footwork, he sees why she's advancing. She leaps, chasing her phantom enemy full force. Her body moves in the dark, with sharper control than ever. Sawu can't believe she picked it up this fast. He sees she's used to blindness now and ups the challenge. He pulls his sword, telling her to dodge a real blade. The very air tenses as the brutal training ramps up for 3 days. By day 3, Yuniel is exhausted and bruised, but pushes through. She faces Sawu in the storm, barely upright, refusing to quit. Her moves burn with raw ferocity, as if the beast's path owns her. Sawu's strike lands and hurls her back, showing how real the gap is. But Sawu admires her resolve. She never once complained about his rules. Yuniel leans on her blade, spent but attentive. Sawu at last asks why she never questioned his attacks or theory. Yuniel says he taught her art's core is finding yourself, so she trusted his methods had purpose. Her words catch Sawu off guard. He agrees and seems to respect her for it. Fired up, he urges her to keep going, then attacks again. This time, Yuniel senses the hit approaching in a brand new way. It's like the motion itself is shining before her. She feels the swing coming before it hits. She notices it's not sight returning, but sensing the blade's path. She knows she can't dodge, so slams her blade up to deflect Sawu's blow. Her blade meets Sawu's, blocking the attack. Sawu stands shocked by her move. He stares in disbelief, grasping the moment's meaning. He realizes she just stopped his silent attack. He's left wondering how she advanced this far in just 3 days. As blades clash, Yuniel hovers, sword tight, proof her risky leap is paying off. Still aching and annoyed at his weakness, the young fighter gets a drink from the bearded master. Grateful, he accepts, barely awake enough to realize what it is. Raising it, he locks eyes with the master and is stunned. The water isn't ordinary. His strength rushes back, as if life was poured instantly into his veins. The master admits he just used his rarest spiritual water, meant only for someone worthy. He feels the boy is the exceptional talent he has waited for his whole life. The silence shatters restored. The boy attacks with fresh speed and power. Their swords clash in a fierce storm as he strikes from every direction. The master doesn't get cornered. Instead, he gets even more excited. He teases the boy to try that attack again, turning the duel into a teaching moment. Stealing himself, the boy faces another incoming blow. The master easily breaks through, calling his effort lacking. The boy sees how outmatched he is as a crushing blow drives him back. The attacks suddenly end. He hesitates, uncertain if it's finally over. Laughter erupts. The master's thrilled to have found his answer. The boy starts seeing him in a new light. Suddenly, his vision returns, and the master calls him Yuniel by name. The master urges him to drop dreams of the 10 demon masters and join his pavilion as a disciple. He says if Yuniel agrees, he'll make him one of the demonic faction's 10 strongest in a decade. Yuniel wants it, trusting in the master's skill, but remembers the killer who murdered his grandfather. He's reminded that ordinary might isn't enough to prevail. He decides only learning the Wandering Beast Pavilion ways won't get his revenge, toughening his resolve. He boldly declares his goal, to become a demon master. The master reels at his response. He warns Yuniel, searching through all 10 demonic arts will doom even a genius. He explains each art suits specific energy and bodies, so true mastery comes from sticking to one. Yuniel apologizes but holds tight to his ambition. The master considers ways to sway the stubborn boy. After some thought, the master changes his mind. He offers to teach Yuniel a new martial art. When Yuniel objects, saying he only knows the basics, the master says his school hands down knowledge more than just through words. He reminds Yuniel the sword strikes before were real lessons. Yuniel suddenly gets it. The attacks drilled the wild beast path into him. The master says Yuniel has practiced the wild beast path already through that. Yuniel finally gets the approach. The master's wild assault showed the true wild beast forms. Yuniel gives him real thanks, but the master replies he simply obeyed the demon palace. Still, Yuniel remembers the master also healed him with rare elixirs. The master tells Yuniel to forget the debt, baffling the young man. The master explains, in Jangu, people should drop both grudges and debts when they can. Yuniel stays quiet, struggling with that idea, then readies to leave. He gives a deep bow and announces he's going now. The master silently watches him go. Now alone, the master wonders where this secret dragon came from. As Yuniel moves away, he feels a coming storm of blood on Hell Island. Since training in the wild beast art, his senses are painfully sharp. Even resting is hard. He knows he'll never rest easy until he controls this new awareness, so he tries to suppress it. He starts practicing control, focusing on a lone droplet's stillness. With focus, Yuniel's mind calms, awareness no longer flooding him. His eyes sharpen again. When the mental pressure drops, he thinks this will have to be enough for now. He shifts his focus to what's next. Yuniel decides the demon palace wouldn't keep trainees here forever, so time is possibly running short. If so, he realizes one path remains. Seek the founder who once rivaled the heavenly demon emperor. That takes him to the Fire Rain Sword Emperor, Jikwan. The Fire Rain Sword sect stands as the fiercest of the 10 demonic sects, so Yuniel stakes everything on joining it. Arriving there, he's awed by its splendor, dwarfing the crude martial hall back at the Wandering Beast Pavilion. He knocks. A member demands to know who visits so late, instantly sensing Yuniel isn't ordinary. Yuniel bows and simply says he's here to learn the Fire Rain Sword sect's martial arts. Instead of sending him off, the sect member leads him in and warns these sword arts are vast and far more demanding than other demonic arts. The instructor outlines the trial process, mentioning everyone is past the beginner stage, then asks why Yuniel is here half a month late. Yuniel explains he trained at the Wandering Beast Pavilion in that time. When he proves it, the instructor is shocked, yet doubts anyone could master the wild beast path so fast. Privately, he suspects the pavilion simply dismissed Yuniel, not truly training him. He introduces himself, Jean Gak, the instructor for beginner trials. Jean Gak presses if Yuniel really wants the Fire Rain Sword art, hinting another trial might suit him. Yuniel insists, determined that the Fire Rain Sword sect is what he wants. Impressed by his resolve, Jean Gak shows off a blazing sword move that lights up the hall as a test. Next, he hands Yuniel the starter form and training guide of the Fire Rain's 13 forms, telling him to practice alone. Yuniel stares at the manual, openly baffled by what he's supposed to do. Jean Gak, astounded, asks if Yuniel honestly can't read a sword manual. Yuniel confidently admits he can't. He's never learned any swordsmanship before this. Jean Gak can barely grasp how someone totally new to the sword stands in his trial hall. But recalling earlier feats, he realizes Yuniel's been fighting by raw instinct, not actual sword technique. To Jean Gak, Yuniel not knowing basic steps seems almost unbelievable. Yet memories of Yuniel's sharp reactions and perceptions make him pause. He thinks back to Yuniel's smart cave dorm choice and begins to see huge potential if Yuniel is trained right. With that, Jean Gak pivots, asking if Yuniel can at least read the written instructions. Yuniel reads the first line out loud and starts to get it. Jingak explains full body relaxation, especially a loose core and waist is essential in sword work. Yuniel tries copying the movement, but his first effort is so awkward, the lesson feels almost comical. Jingak corrects his posture personally, urging him to calm down, relax, and match his physique to the flow. Yuniel quickly fixes his stance. Jingak is shocked by how fast he understood and adapted. Impressed, he calls Yuniel's stance good enough and dives into teaching Fire Rain 13 forms immediately. He shows Yuniel the sword's opening move directly. Yuniel focuses hard, all in. Intensity borders on desperation as he grabs at every detail. Chaos takes over. His eagerness overwhelms the flow of training. Jingak spots the instant Yuniel's grip and spirit harden. Yuniel starts moving, and his swordplay turns shockingly deadly for a beginner. A blood-red aura creeps into the techniques. Jingak thrills at Yuniel's raw talent. He tells Yuniel to picture a real enemy and run the Fire Rain 13 forms. He says it's the test to enter the intermediate chamber, showing hidden sword intent. Yuniel knows his moment came early and steels himself to prove he's worthy. He plants his feet, ready to take the challenge. As he imagines this enemy, all his focus turns sharp and fierce. His foes becomes a dark swordsman in his mind. Yuniel grips his blade as hatred bursts out. He slashes the first Fire Rain move, but it's already not quite the form style. Jingak feels something is instantly off. The imagined enemy attacks, and Yuniel moves like his life's on the line. He launches the third technique, making it a brutal kill strike instead of a drifting motion. Jingak is shocked that Yuniel creates moves like real Fire Rain forms. He knows the third should be gentle like fog. With Yuniel, it turns razor sharp. It's so harsh it feels wrong, yet it's scarily effective. Jingak wonders if Yuniel rewrites sword basics unknowingly, a feat for masters. What rattles him most is that every changed motion bleeds murderous intent, as if Yuniel's avenging someone dearly loved. He can't fathom the pain weighing on one so young. Yuniel feels something off, as if the flow in his hands shifts his forms on its own. He thinks the Wild Beast path mutates his sword's motions. Each Fire Rain move deepens the Wild Beast path's hold, warping his senses further. He wants to truly blend them, but it hits him. It'd shape an entirely new sword style, not the Fire Rain 13. He forces himself back to basics, but his eyes burn even hotter with hate. They picture the fight ramping up until the enemy seems almost real. Then Yuniel finally sees the figure. It's the one who killed his grandfather. The truth hits him hard, leaving him frozen. Rage takes over instantly. The Phantom responds with a brutal fire range assault. It blasts him with the 7th move, crushing him with power. The Killer Blade attacks, hitting before Yuniel fully recovers. Yuniel realizes too late the counterattack will break him. He admits this enemy is frightfully fast. No rival he's faced has ever moved at this incredible level. The Phantom raises its sword again, preparing the final blow. Yuniel charges forward, refusing to retreat, determined not to let his enemy control the fight. He grips tight, lets go of restraint, and throws everything into one last attack. Blue sword light explodes, aiming to wipe out the blood-red force. The swords crash together at point-blank range. The killer stands unfazed in the red storm, leaving Yuniel's last try unresolved. The swordsman staggers as murderous pressure rises, turning training into raw peril. For a second, only vicious violence matters. As the threat engulfs him, he stands strong under the deadly aura, facing an unleashed foe. Tension shatters. Blood hits the floor. Exhausted, the black-clad trainee barely grips his weapon. His grip fails and the sword falls. The Red Road instructor declares he lost, then quickly changes his mind. He says the trainee actually passed, leaving the battered swordsman shocked. He explains the chamber judge's deeper sword mastery, not just a win or loss. The instructor drives the point home, tossing the swords into the air coolly. The trainee catches it. The instructor confirms he met the standard needed. He gets the sword back as an honor, not as spoil from defeat. The instructor applauds his Fire Rain 13 forms and sends him to the intermediate chamber. He remembers instructor Jingak's patient, step-by-step swordsmanship lessons. He bows, truly grateful, and thanks his teacher. The instructor smiles, then urges him to work even harder ahead. Suddenly stern, the instructor warns that the trainee's blade has terrifying killing intent. He must never let it rule his heart. That warning leaves the trainee uneasy. As he walks away, the instructor sees the wild rumors were real. The boy really conquered the Wild Beast style in just 2 weeks. He tries blaming it on raw talent, but the boy's leap in skill doesn't feel natural. Watching the boy reach the intermediate hall so soon, the instructor admits he misjudged him. Trusted now, the boy's ready for the next test as the way forward opens. He heads straight for the new chamber. A new instructor appears. He coldly greets the trainee before everyone, acting like he doesn't belong. Chan Wanggang, the trial instructor, dismisses him, claiming no room is left. Secretly, he assumes Beyonce will obsess over this boy. This is the intermediate hall. The trainee stands firm, refusing to go. Silence falls as everyone waits for his reason. Chan Wongang believes the boy barely passed beginner level and mocks him as too slow learning Fire Rain Sword. The trainee replies he spent his first 15 days in Lanjia Hall. The instructor believes this proves he avoided Beast Dao and taunts him more. Still, he lets the boy stay, but warns he may struggle. He opens the lesson on the Fire Rain Thunderclap sword, all speed and movement. He stresses that without skill, sheer speed causes self-injury, and notes it's as difficult to use in battle as the previous forms. He explains, this lesson remains part of the basics. Technique will decide results, not just winning. He calls on Bayak Hansung to choose a sparring partner and start a duel. Hanung asks if he can pick anyone at all, gaining immediate approval. Without hesitation, he picks the newcomer as his opponent. The trainee looks up, shocked to be chosen. The instructor pauses. Hansung insists on his right to pick. John Wongang rebukes Hanong for picking a new arrival and tells him to select someone else. The trainee cuts in, volunteering and officially accepting the duel. Both challenger and teacher are startled. He states Jin taught him everything and says, fighting others is his fastest path to improvement. The instructor doubts him, thinking he's bluffing with rookie skills. After some irritation, he relents and allows it. He frames the duel as a test of self-knowledge and says the boy's skill decides if he belongs in the advanced hall. Ansem views the duel as his chance to kill the new kid and rise above the other prodigies. The two stand face to face in the hall, surrounded by watching students. Hansung admits the boy's guts, but mocks it as misplaced bravado, reminding that courage alone won't save you. Without a word, Hanung swings his wooden sword with brutal intent. The trainee dodges fast, slipping inside instead of blocking it head-on. Hansung only grins, believing he can play with someone who evades instead of counters. He follows up hard, forcing the trainee to block close in, sweat beads as he nearly fumbles the strike. Hanan feels the awkward clash and instantly sneers, certain the boy is just a rookie. Laughing, he unleashes Fire Rain Thunderclap, gold arcs blazing as Hanun presses the attack. Hanun keeps laughing, thinking victory comes easy, until the trainee weaves through everything, shocking him. For the first time, Hansong panics. From the side, John Wongang calls Hanung's swordplay crude and unimpressive. At that moment, he starts rethinking his view of the new contender. He sees the boy's true skill is in speed, but freakishly precise movement, almost as if the beast helps. He remembers the Beast Da, labeled basic Langle, yet secretly a master-level skill few ever grasp. No prodigy should master such a thing in just 15 days, making the idea impossible. Qian Wongang zeroes in, warning that dodges don't pass. Only swordwork matters in this trial. The trainee plants his foot and shifts his tempo. He now meets Hansong's weapon direct, his gaze calm and set for a counter. Red sword energy bursts outward as he transforms defense into offense. The students gasp, recognizing the Fire Rain sword form. Hanzong shrugs it off, thinking it's an easy-to-break mimic. But Bunyul, noticing details, sees it's actually an altered and much more deadly version. Hanung stays arrogant, sure he'll win, until the duel flips his confidence wrecked. Thrown off by the shark counter, he's left stunned and bewildered. The trainee's altered Fire Rain tears through Hansong's guard and leaves him open. Hanung wonders if the boy hid his real strength to embarrass him and catch the instructor's eye. Desperate to win, he decides to use a true killing attack. Face set with deadly determination, he summons the Asura sword technique, vowing he'll alone enter the advance hall. Hanum unleashes blood-breaking strike, turning the friendly duel into attempted murder. Qian Wongang instantly spots the lethal move, recalling he never forbid anything beyond Fire Rain. Even so, he's startled by the trainee's response, noting the boy's unshakable stance under deadly threat. Finally, the instructor accepts that the trainee truly mastered the beast's power. Hanung's attacks grow reckless as he praises the boy's evasions. Even as he chases his kill, he shouts that the next blow will end all. Chan Wongang suddenly sees the counter forming and is jolted. A blinding moment cuts straight through the chaos. The trainee responds with Bloodwind annihilates the moon, a deadly strike from the Asura sword style itself. His grip stays strong and precise. The clash erupts in an explosion of force. The students flinch back in pure shock, realizing this isn't just training. Even Qian Wongang falls silent in awe. Before Hansung reacts, the trainee unleashes the 13th move of Fire Rain sword art, beginningless extremes. Hanung takes the hit hard, spits blood, and confidence crumbles as he's thrown away. The trainee steady and unfazed. The trainee lowers his blade, watching the outcome with no pride. All around, students stare in stunned disbelief at the fight's end. As Hansen falls into his own blood, the hall wonders if he's dead. Practice weapons rattle as everyone reacts to the brutal violence. The trainee coolly places his sword away as the instructor stands beside the fallen boy. Qian Wongang rules Hanung dead, struck at the Danjiang point. His stillness seems to confirm it. The instructor questions if the trainee once trained at Nanji Pavilion. Hearing the denial, John Wongang grills him. Did he master the beast sword in weeks? The boy says he barely knows the basics. That sounds false to the instructor, who scoffs, accusing Nanjia Pavilion of teaching lies, not swordplay. He snaps, demanding the body be dragged out. Furious students protest, demanding justice for the killing. John Wongang snaps, warning, this is no school. Only the strong survive when death moves as swiftly as a blade. Without feeling, he announces the test goes on, ignoring the bloodshed. Another fight begins. Shaken, the class tries to regain composure. Hansong stays sprawled enthralled, bleeding, and forgotten. Some students shudder. Others secretly thrill-proof of just how dark the hall has become. A few gather near Hansong, while the instructor stays aloof. Changwon Gang announces Hanong's group failed and orders them out to find another school. They beg for mercy. It's just one test, but he stands firm. He insists true mastery needs willpower, not just talent. He says they lost because they lack that rare strength. He casts them out without pity. Those rejected slink away. Jiang Wanggong then spots one trainee still standing before him, holding his ground. Asked why he stays, the trainee shyly wonders if he too must leave. John Wangang explains that since the trainee won, he should move to the advanced hall. The trainee refuses. For him, passing isn't enough. He wants to stay. The instructor asks why. His reason hangs over the intermediate hall's very entrance. The trainee says he only knows the wall 13 forms, not even touching the intermediate level, and can't progress on a lie. Qian Wangang is stunned by that honesty. He relents, agreeing to teach him the wall Biocrow sword next after wall 13, but warns he hates show-offs and will spot any outside technique. He vows to behead him instantly if he cheats, ever straying from the wall. 13 forms. 4 days pass. The threat remains in the instructor's thoughts. He notes how terrible the boy's basics were before. Now, the trainee moves with shocking power and control, belying his short experience. Chanwang tries to hide it, but his awe is growing. He sees the boy train as if his life rides on every move. Finally, the instructor gets how the trainee mastered the beast sword in just 2 weeks. The boy surges forward, the wall Biocrow sword crackling with energy as his new training ignites clear growth. Someone abruptly yells for him to halt, cutting off the strike. The instructor ends the spar, stating the disciple finally has the WoW Biocrow sword's core, though the disciple still doubts himself. He says the style spins fast to switch forms, but is so unsafe in real fights that it often means death. Still, the instructor senses something out of the ordinary. He observes the disciple fighting every move like it's lethal, and the disciple claims swordsmanship exists to kill. The instructor replies, demonic arts come from killing, but WoW Forest strives for more and leaves blind slaughter behind. He warns if the urge to kill isn't purged, the art will turn on its user. The disciple sees this, matches what instructor Jean Gak once said. The instructor adds he also used to live by a killing blade, taking down anyone he faced. That route wrecked his status, stripped his honor, and even damaged his skills. The killing sword fools people into thinking it's the path up, but really blocks true growth. So now the disciple needs to let go of that dark intent forever. Turning to Sola, he says, swordsmen's days are soaked in pain and misery. This is why martial folks almost never discuss the past. They'd rather bury their history than remember it. The disciple, rattled, asks why he's opening up like this. He reminds him he once clung to a murderous sword just like this. Then he cuts straight to the disciple's name. The disciple calls himself Yuniel. The instructor suddenly realizes Yuniel is the survivor Jean Gak mentioned from the second hall. He quickly explains to Yuniel. This exposes a deeper problem. Yuniel asks about that problem. The instructor bluntly says Yuniel has 0 real martial roots. He states Yuniel's rivals are childhood prodigies, and when they enter WoW Sword's real training, his disadvantage only grows. To catch up, Yuniel must master top-level arts fast and lay that missing base before handling WoW Sword skills. He decides, prepping to personally offer this new chance. He proclaims he'll teach Genro Muzong, a martial art he invented, but instantly shares the price. He admits he failed at learning it himself. His finger nerves were severed. He warns it's a terribly risky sword style that might leave Yuniel's arms useless. Rather than safely moving up, Yuniel could lose everything, so he demands if that risk is truly fine. Yuniel decides quickly for revenge's sake. With icy resolve, Yuniel humbly accepts, chasing more than progress. A month blurs by as Yuniel studies Gianna, ready to leave the intermediate hall. Even the head instructor thinks that's unusually rapid, though slower than Yuniel hoped. After mastering the beginner basics and intermediate skills, Yuniel moves on once more. Yuniel steps into the senior hall, feeling both the place and the people are far different. This move puts Yuniel with much sterner trainees, and the senior instructor examines the newcomer closely. Yuniel instantly notices that even breathing here feels heavier. These trainees are sharper and calmer than anyone Yuniel saw before. A unique pressure radiates from them that Yuniel's never felt. The old contempt is gone, likely since killing Bayak Hansong changed Yuniel's image. Bitterly, Yuniel thinks corpse clearers are mocked, but killers are respected. The instructor greets Bunil and invites him to sit as the class begins. Thanks to the new face, class restarts with the Hayu sword song and its 7 lessons, covering strength, balance, stance, and control. Yuniel gets it. These lessons only click now after mastering advanced sword skills. When lecture ends, the instructor calls for Bunil alone. Yuniel trails, unsure what's coming. He leads Yuniel outside for a direct, personal test. He explains real sword skill, lets you beat a foe even unarmed. He grabs a bamboo branch like it's enough. Instantly, it becomes lethal, leaving Yuniel scrambling. He asks how Yuniel'd fight if suddenly attacked weaponless. Catching Yuniel off guard, his attacks already started. The instructor adds the others now study the sword's essence, so if Yuniel falls behind, he's out. If Yuniel doesn't grasp this now, he's instantly expelled from the senior hall. Under attack, Yuniel starts searching for action, not words. Suddenly, Yuniel figures it out. No sword? Use your opponent's blade as your own. Intent surges. Yuniel grabs for the attacking weapon. The instructor is stunned when Yuniel follows through, not just talking but acting. He calls the move reckless, yet he's clearly probing for any leftover benefits. Yuniel reacts just as the instructor slips ahead of both intent and action. The instructor's steps can't be predicted. Yuniel can't guess where he'll slip away. Yuniel knows catching him was nearly impossible, but losing track entirely shakes him. Fearing expulsion, Yuniel vows to prove himself here, no matter the sacrifice. Yuniel unleashes every ounce of feral sense. Searching for the instructor's path, a single clear moment reveals the opening. Yuniel lunges for it. Yuniel grasps the bamboo branch just in time. Despite the hold, the instructor's unmatched strength hurls Yuniel away. Yuniel hits hard, beaten and thrown back for all his effort. Hurt but determined, Yuniel forces himself to stand. The instructor seizes Yuniel's shoulder, keenly judging the outcome. He laughs with approval, announcing Yuniel's success. Yuniel is stunned, baffled by passing without a single strike landed. The instructor states, Yuniel will train in Haiyan Jian Haiyan from dawn, arriving earlier than all others. Yuniel quickly agrees. They separate in the garden with the test settled. Alone, the instructor examines the bamboo branch, finding on it the confirmation he sought about Yuniel. He grins, having learned enough about the disciple's character. Even as a cub, Yuniel is undoubtedly a wolf, he decides. That truth leaves the instructor even more eager about Yuniel's growth. After, Yuniel marks the training session finished. Though he should rest or cultivate, Yuniel dives deeper into the hell path instead. Recalling the second hall, Yuniel knows violence could strike at any second. Sure enough, oncoming steps signal new trouble searching him out. Yuniel quickly steadies himself to size up the threat. Yuniel, just from the noise, senses several chasers before they show. She counts 5. 5 upper trainees step out, calling her name. Their leader mocks Yuniel, says she's too proud, and justifies revenge as fair because she killed first. He brags they were already known as the 5-peak swords and warns her to get ready. Yuniel senses danger beyond these 5. There's a 6th hiding behind. Before they can corner her, the hidden attacker rushes out. He's cut down in a flash. A red-haired bladesman stands behind the downed man, cutting him with one strike. The rest freeze, stunned by losing one of their own first. None can figure out why the newcomer hit their ally. He's called Seo Jinha. He looks right at Bunzel. Clear he's here for Yuniel, not them. Seo Jinha says they need a private word. The group hesitantly asks why Seo Jinha even showed up. He tells them off, sneering that he doesn't bother with weaklings. His murderous aura alone shakes them. They back off under pressure, swearing payback. Yuniel later admits Seo Jinha is the real deal. Jo Jinha calls those fleeing cowards and focuses just on her. His gaze sharp and dangerous. He asks Bunyel directly, pointing his sword, demanding whose side Yuniel's on. Yuniel is blindsided by the question. Next class, the instructor stresses learning the first Fire Rain sword move isn't true mastery. Now, he wants to see everyone's original take. He calls Bunyel, then has Yuniel step up. Yuniel faces forward, gripping her sword. She breathes deeply, centering herself for the move. Right before she acts, her look shifts. She doesn't just repeat the form, she unleashes her own, far deadlier style fueled by real intent to kill. The strike blasts through the hall. All power. Once done, Yuniel stands alone, surrounded by the scars it left. The instructor calls it steady and sharp, but points out Yuniel twisted it into something deadly. He tells Yuniel to step back and calls up Seo Jinha. As Seo Jinha passes, the tension spikes between them as they stand back to back. Yuniel now knows that earlier question wasn't just chance. Seo Jinha starts his move, his aura colder than before. Privately, he speaks straight to Yuniel as he acts. He shows off a move that could have countered Yuniel directly, not just the standard Fire Rain sword form. The message is clear. This isn't just skill but a pointed warning meant for Yuniel. Yuniel gets it. Seo Jinha isn't randomly hostile, so he demands to know what the earlier question meant. Seo Jinha fires back, refusing to let Yuniel feign confusion. His words hit hard, forcing Yuniel to accept not everyone here fights for the same dream in the demonic sect. Yuniel admits, learning from the 10 demonic sects is rare, but the entire system here is rotten to the core. That thought twists the opportunities into a camouflage trap. To Yuniel, it feels just like baited spikes meant to snare prey. And suddenly, he suspects there's a spy around. Reading Seo Jinha's face and tone, Yuniel can tell he's not lying. Seo Jinha flatly states Yuniel isn't the spy after all. And even though he seems annoyed to lose a fight, he warns Yuniel to stop making trouble. Then he threatens that, if pushed again, he'll kill Yuniel himself. With that, they part. Yuniel is stuck on thoughts of the spy and all the hidden dangers clearly brewing. Still, Yuniel decides not to obsess over plots, having focused entirely on the Wandering Beast Pavilion and Fire Rain sword sect arts. The call now is simple. Get stronger. With spies or rivals, anyone in Yuniel's path will fall. A dark warning now looms over the island as the next trial closes in. To the weak, daily life still seems normal. But as the next test starts, peace shatters. Survival depends on striking first or getting swallowed. Above the grounds, trouble brews across the remote spot where these disciples are being pushed. The instructors declare training time done. One elder admits that for most, memorizing rules and doctrine felt dull. He says real martial artists must master principles as deeply as combat knowing isn't doing. He calls their training just a starting point for surviving in the MIM world. Lesson done. He quickly shifts to the next step. The bell rings, launching the true test. Trainees get only a chilly good luck. The disciples freeze at the abrupt signal, sensing that everything just got real. They get ordered straight to the stone mountain at the island's heart. That mountain becomes the place for the coming challenge. Every surviving candidate faces the examiner's fierce presence. Overseers confirm nobody's missing. One watchful disciple stands tense and aware in the restless crowd. The chief examiner delays, cranking up everyone's anxiety. He drops that the next test is the third trial. Trainees, blindsided, see the orders changed. One disciple realizes their deadly fight was the second trial, a fact others missed. The examiners announce the caves will seal soon and no returning until 10 demon masters stand. Shock hits the crowd, panic rising. A bold trainee asks how the 10 will be picked. The examiner scoffs, shaming them for missing what's obvious in the demon palace. He lays out the rule, cold, direct. They are to hunt down one another. When only 10 survive, the trial ends. Panic crashes over the group as the brutal truth hits. Still, one disciple grows sharply curious, not scared. The examiner tells them to run or hide, but it's only temporary. He warns the safe spots will shrink, eventually forcing every fight. Anyone stuck in the forbidden zones will be hunted by killer demons. The quiet disciple instantly feels their dangerous, bloody aura. She knows those enforcers had skills far above simple trainees. A trainee asks if killer demons can be fought. The examiner welcomes that spirit, saying killer demons can be taken down. Killing one instantly lands you among the 10 demon masters, and that reward sways some to act. Taking down one demon is simpler than wiping out almost everyone else. The examiner urges alliances, betrayals, and ambushes. Anything goes. He insists killing by any means is the only goal. To him, murder alone means you're fit to be a demon master. The mountain's caves turn into a lethal maze as the hunt begins. The long-haired disciple acts fast, desperate to dodge the coming chaos. She knows her strength has already put a target on her. She can't stick around, or she'll end up surrounded. Her top priority is to vanish and reclaim control over the fight. She chooses a remote hut as her retreat, getting there before the bloodbath catches up. Arriving, she senses the ground near the hut feels strangely off. Probing deeper, she detects something hidden beneath her feet. Her focus sharpens, piecing together the place's true purpose. Suddenly, she feels people charging in. A terrified trainee storms inside, begging for protection from killers. She grips her weapon, studying him with unbroken caution. He promises to repay her, and she quickly notices his desperation is mostly real. Even so, she carefully scans for any sign he's lying. His wounds look real, proof that he's been hunted. 3 more close in, maybe allies, maybe not. She'd rather avoid a fight, but him giving away her spot would be far worse. The boy waits anxiously, hoping to seem harmless. She ignores him and acts on her find beneath the hut. She triggers a secret mechanism, unveiling a hidden room below. She shows the area was set up as an underground hideout. Their pursuers arrive too late, baffled by their sudden disappearance. Furious, they vow to hunt the boy and head off searching. Their steps fade, leaving the hut quiet again. Now the hut is silent, concealing its hidden sanctuary. With danger gone, she climbs out of the shelter. The boy follows, exhausted but grateful. He thanks her, overflowing with relief for saving his life. She realizes Mr. Saw built the hidden shelter with a deeper purpose than just hiding her. Buried underground, she discovers her wild beast path picks up wider, sharper vibrations. She learns to read footsteps pressing the earth under her. She also learns to sense blade moves and attacks by the same earthborn touch. Sight fades, but the world becomes readable. The earth tattling secrets, and she knows this is Mr. Saw's lesson for her, clear as day now. As she absorbs her breakthrough, the rescued boy stares, more intrigued each second. She tests her gift again, confirming its edge, and readies herself to keep moving. The boy blurts out his name, GM Kiang, blood sect, and awkwardly asks for hers. She ignores him and moves to go, but he sticks around, explaining he ran at trial's start and never stopped fleeing. He insists her earlier rescue means he can trust her and begs to join her. She gives no reply, just a quiet look to the distance. He assumes it's a yes and cheerfully shadows her every step. For a boy fresh from terror, that upbeat grin seems suspiciously unshaken. A fight suddenly breaks out nearby, grabbing their focus. She touches the ground, feeling battles ripple straight through the soil. She knows fighting's close and urges them to change course. He marvels and asks her to teach him. She just offers a half-hearted promise, sharing nothing more as they walk. On the move, her thirst for revenge roars back, remembering her master and raw anger. Suddenly, this new fight feels raw, almost like her own wound reopening. She senses kindred hatred in the clash, and the boy notices her shift in attitude. She changes course. Now they're heading straight for the fight, ready or not. They creep closer and spot a man cornered by assassins bleeding in the woods. A hidden assassin strikes from above, but she blocks it just in time. Her lightning move stuns the killers and saves the wounded man from certain death. The assassin is shocked his stealth failed so easily and suspects she's another assassin. She answers with steel instead of words, dropping him with one swift stroke. She sees the stealth art is deadly good thing. She can sense vibrations like wild beasts. The boy she saves can't look past the blood, missing the danger. She notes chaos still goes on. Her focus moves to the bloodied survivor at the fight's heart. She wonders if helping him finish the assassins will reveal the true taste of revenge. The wound man claims the fight's nearly finished and pushes her help aside. He promises the last assassin a swift death for surviving this far. Before it's over, she charges into the duel, the assassins shocked by more enemies. The wounded man snaps, showing fierce, ruthless aggression at her challenge. Another assassin tries to use the chaos, but luck is against them. One assassin gets hit and grasps too late that they've lost control. She pushes through the havoc, cutting down everyone blocking her goal. Attacking fast, she tries to understand the wounded man's mind, stumping him with her revenge question. Bloody and intense, she locks eyes with him to show she desperately needs answers. She kills again in his gaze, trying to tear the truth from him. In shared brutality, he morphs monstrous as his own revenge peaks. He laughs through red, lost in his triumph, finally declaring his revenge complete. Silence settles over the dead under the trees. The timid boy from afar asks softly if it's done. She keeps watching the Avenger, still searching for clues about revenge's aftermath. The boy compliments her skill, but adds a sharp warning. She never should have trusted him. In one swift move, he drops his mask and stabs at her from behind with a hidden blade. Shocked for once, she realizes his innocent act was deception. He brags he always saw her power, waiting for her defenses to drop before striking. He reveals that he'd known from the start about her hidden weapons. Her stiff way of moving exposed the concealed blades to him long ago. He stayed close, not out of thanks, but to watch how a liar like her acted. He says he learned her schemes to use them for himself later. He's shocked she saw through him. Sure, he played the role seamlessly. He lets fly secret blades, claiming his trickery was flawless. Hurt, she realizes he's reading her moves and reels in her approach. She spots the rhythm in his assault and knows his betrayal started when they went underground together. That's when she noticed the weapons hidden all over him. His rigid stance revealed the heaviness and places of his secret arms. She kept him around only out of curiosity about his true actions. Watching his fake out taught her a fresh lesson. He can't accept she read him from the start. Infuriated, he releases more blades. Sure, his act was untouchable. She dodges, wounded but steady and calm. He finally wonders whether she's been inside his head all along and doubts he can ever surprise her. The match becomes a test. His hidden weapons versus her wild beast insight. His own weapon strikes him, bearing his weakness and erasing his edge. She nears as his poise drains with his blood. She tells him hidden blades are useless once you're exposed. She brandishes his blade near her bloody face, showing the trick failed. Victory is now hers. A cut trainee panics, realizing the foe he counted out is still there. He faces the blood-soaked swordsman, whose cold poise drains hope. Despite the mess, the long-haired fighter remains chilling and unfathomable. Already controlling the aftermath, he strikes clean and hard before the foe even stirs. Weaving sword with hidden knife, he breaks through the man's last stand. His blow rips the trainee's throat battle over. The dying man screams in shock as death walks past. The winner stays upright as his enemy sinks into blood behind him. He admits the fight was deadly, and learning of concealed weapons made him survive. Even after he stays alert, he senses more threats linger. He glances down at the body and the lost blade. He's certain the fight is over. He watches the man's last desperate fight for life, a look he's seen in every death. He turns away coldly, already focusing on the next threat. Bodies cover the path, proof he survived a savage purge. But one dead trainee draws his eye, feeling different, dragging him back to the question haunting his every kill. He wonders if revenge would let him smile like the dead sometimes do. A memory of a corpse's faint smile lingers in his mind, still unanswered. He forces a tiny smile, testing if vengeance gives him peace. But peace escapes him. He grabs another weapon, ready to move forward. He takes a sword from a corpse, adding to his arsenal. Leaving the battlefield, he feels eyes on him as someone new takes notice. A hidden watcher slips away, preparing to report everything. The observer vanishes, set to share news of the swordman's skill. Hidden, the watcher sees the trainee defeat assassins using only the basics of Fire Rain sword sect. He admits the boy's skill, but is sure pure talent isn't enough for Hell Island. If the trainee doesn't grow stronger, he'll die. Just as more pursuers close in on him, a squad spots he's alone and gives the order to chase, planning to swarm him. They rush, brandishing flexible blades, trying to corner him. He blocks a hit, but pressure builds. Attacks swarm from all sides, forcing him to fall back. A blade slices him, proof he can't win matching blow for blow. He knows fighting on means death, so he urgently scans for terrain to shift the odds. Two elders watch from a cliff, treating the massacre like a cold experiment. The old man asks for an update. Only 41 of 86 trainees remain. He's shocked so many survived after 3 days. Below, the long-haired fighter keeps defending as the overseers analyze them. Deciding the survivors need a tougher challenge, the old man shifts the rules. He demands the map, ready to rewrite the trial himself. As the order goes out, the relentless chase rages on. A pursuer charges in, confident he's won, but the long-haired trainee turns the attack on him. He escapes again, and they realize he slipped free. He knows fighting them out here means defeat. He decides switching up the arena is key. Atop the cliff, the old overseer tightens the trial. The trainee feels the situation worsening, though he doesn't know the reason yet. The overseer commands the killer demons in the Fire Rain Sword Sect area to be unleashed. That call completely shifts the danger from demo fights to genuine deadly threat. Unaware, the long-haired swordsman dashes up the steps toward the Fire Rain Sword Sect's hall. Bloodstains show his brutal chase. The pursuers barrel after him, sure numbers will win. They follow him into the hall, certain he has no escape. Silent walls mask the ambush he's preparing inside the building. As they fan out, they think he's finally cornered and helpless. One boasts smugly, "You're running out of ground, game over." Danger strikes too late. He reappears behind them before they react. The long-haired trainee launches his counter from behind, flipping the hunt instantly. They see now, he outsmarted them, luring them here on purpose. He maneuvers the narrow space with skill, turning the hall into his advantage. He dodges close, slipping between their cramped swings and crossing their weapons up. He meets their blades head-on, making tight exchanges. One attacker tumbles forward, vulnerable. Their group suddenly realizes he predicts their moves and can outthink them. He keeps silent, letting confusion grow while he holds the tempo. A swift counterattack pushes the lead line back and breaks their squad up. One trainee falls. The others panic at how fast his trap snaps shut. The long-haired fighter charges forward before discipline can return. A pursuer tries to retaliate with a quick whipblade strike from behind. He realizes this hallway is packed. Using weapons here risks hurting themselves. The swordsman spots that pause and closes in again. His blade strikes before the man can react, another scream echoing. The survivors finally grasp he lured them in to break them down, one at a time. He confirms their dread silently. Sure, they figured it out. Inside, their swings shrink, falter, and their patterns grow obvious. He seals it, they're doomed here. His foes simply lack skill to beat these odds. With blood painting the corridor, he thinks he can win if he isolates them. The last trainee attacks frantically, hoping to end it before the trap closes. A blow crashes into the wall, splintering wood and spraying shards. He notices the ricochet. Now the environment itself is lethal. The rampant blade rips through the hall. He's thrown into wreckage, angry at himself for missing how weapons would rebound. The rest try bolting for safety, realizing the trap's deadly for them too. But one slams to a stop, held by something unseen. He looks up, baffled, his escape blocked from above. A chilling figure appears, demanding to know why they're running. This new arrival mocks their panic, forbidding all retreat. The trainee instantly recognize him, their captain, and scramble for excuses. Before their protest finishes, he slaughters them for running. He murders his own team, quick and merciless, proving he's worse than the boy. He calls the dead failures, not worth warning. The long-haired trainee watches this new threat from cover. Instead of charging, he steps out and asks if this is the leader. The captain commends his moves, identifying his style as the Fire Rain Sword. He introduces himself as Wooming, casually asking the boy's name as if this is just talk. Silence falls as they size each other up. The long-haired trainee starts to reply, judging Wooming's intentions. Munching laughs off the idea of remembering someone he plans to kill. He lunges during his taunt, caring nothing for fairness in battle. The ambush almost stuns the boy. He sees fast that this fighter is in another league. Munching's weapon smashes through everything, destroying wood with ease. He reveals the Fire Rain Sword Sect's chamber teaches just one defense, knowing secrets enemies never should. The long-haired trainee is shocked. Munching knows about Shining Mystique, the secretive defensive art. That fact makes him sure Munching knows way more than a basic trainee. Munching mocks his distraction, attacking before he can think. He drives forward, grinning fiercely, savoring his opponent's desperation. The long-haired trainee is forced into full retreat, scrambling to survive. As Munching swings through the hall, the boy sees brute force, wind terrain, and style mean nothing. Enclosed spaces that helped against weaklings are useless. Munching crushes him and snaps past his guard. The boy slides back, battered, but keeps his spirit and resets his stance. He steadies himself, ready to trust Shiny Mystique against what's coming next. Munching steps in, clearly not impressed. The boy still can't meet his standards. He sneers. Skills like the boy's mean nothing, then strikes hard to finish things. Steel flashes and loops through the corridor, trapping the boy inside Munching's hurricane of force. The long-haired trainee braces against the spinning assault, desperate for a way to counterattack. He's caught inside an ever-tightening prison of strikes. Munching taunts that death is seconds away. The assault escalates until the boy just hangs on and bears it. He realizes Shiny Mystique redirects strikes, shielding him, but can't overpower Munching. So, he digs deeper, recalling a lesson he never fully got, searching for something greater. He remembers the instructor's focus on a single finger force should strike, not just deflect. He gets that only a deadly, concentrated power will break the steel apart. Munching senses something's changed, but can't piece it together yet. He laughs at what he assumes is defiance. Before he can discount Shining Mystique, power surges from inside. Munching shock finally breaks through. He's never seen this before. Brilliant gold force erupts, shattering the steel prison and exploding outward. The long-haired trainee steps out, sparks crackling, his sword pulsing with a new, fierce energy. He unleashes a move called Unrivaled Lightning and Thunder. Golden energy whips past Munching, overwhelming his pride in a blink. Blood spills as Munching stares in shock. Realizing the attack already landed, the boy now behind him. The long-haired trainee holds his focus, barely standing as Munching falters from the delayed blow. Munching's eye widens at the crushing truth. He lost. The boy looks down, victory aching with exhaustion and worry. Breath ragged, he eyes the blood-soaked floor, trying to grasp the technique's toll. He remembers how Unrivaled Lightning and Thunder matches his instructor's warnings, forcing him to stifle a shaky gasp. He admits the move is too advanced for him now. Still, he claims victory and tells himself to move before restricted zones shift. Before leaving, a sinister energy halts him. He spins, instantly on guard. He can't trust his own eyes. A hooded figure stands amid the ruins, shocking him with its uncanny presence. It raises glowing red eyes, and he knows instantly. This is a killer demon. The swordswoman, locked in her fight, is jolted to find a killing demon right there. She guesses the zone shifted during battle, but refuses to run. Instead, judging the risk if Engine leaves, she steadies her feet, choosing to challenge the intruder instead of retreat. A deep breath sharpens her senses as she searches the demon for any hint of action. The masked foe remains frozen, revealing nothing. Deciding that silence means escape is best, she bolts away. She sprints, aiming to slip past the demon before it reacts. Her mind nails itself to the dash no doubts left. Suddenly, a monstrous killing aura, like a titanic serpent, blocks her path. The paralyzing pressure reveals how badly she underestimated the threat. A deadly strike shoots for her throat before she even notices it. Death grazes her neck for a split second. She twists away, barely dodging where the invisible blade slices. She's horrified that the assault arrived silent and unseen. Only beast path instincts save her, which means she'd be dead otherwise. Driven to all fours, she faces the demon again. Fully alert, she lifts her bloodied blade, bracing for a fight too advanced for her. She tells herself his calm is dangerous. Once she moves, he'll immediately counter. A lesson from her master resurfaces. Predators catch prey by perfect timing, not raw speed. Prey survive by juking, but true hunters keep up. Masters attack in step with prey's rhythm. They don't simply pursue, they strike as their target commits. So survival means breaking that rhythm. With this insight, she makes a bold choice. She shouts to shake up her own rhythm and throw the demon off. Now her moves need to be wild and unpredictable. The demon finally perks up as her tactics shift. She darts in zigzags, leaving after images and fake attack paths. First step, ditch any pattern, move unpredictably, and close in before he can block her. Next, she taps Beast Path to dodge attacks already coming her way. Last, she forces an opening with moves he can't predict. She thinks her gamble is paying off, but the demon's blade is already waiting. She realizes too late. She stepped right into his trap, but he halts the final blow unexpectedly. She swiftly guesses he's stopped because she crossed into the restricted boundary. Now they face off outside the hall. Demon passive. Her escape stings because she only managed to run, never land a hit. She must admit, she's just felt the edge of a real master's power, and her own experience is tiny. The quiet of the night forest settles in. She's stunned, certain the killing demon's martial arts are on another level. The thought takes her back to the beast that killed her grandfather. She now realizes that Beast had deadly martial skill too. If she wants vengeance, she must grow even beyond that creature. Suddenly, a young man calls her Buganziel, stopping her thoughts. He claims he's been searching for her and knows she followed the beast's path. His knowing tone unsettles her. She fears her enemies have her secrets. He starts to address her silent suspicions. Ignoring introductions, he coldly tells her the doomed have no need for names. He charges with murderous fury and a huge sword. She looks untroubled as his blade falls. At the final second, she dodges neatly, his attack missing by a breath. He commends her beast instincts for sensing his blade's path. He says she's sure to rise among the 10, vowing to end the demonic sex seed now. He unleashes a deadlier sword technique. His style shifts and seed of the demonic sex sticks in her mind. His words make her doubt if everyone here really shares the official goal. Suspicion of his identity grows. She pushes aside those thoughts and readies for his next onslaught. Their blades clash. She notices something odd in the impact. That feeling rattles her focus. It's disturbingly familiar. As they duel again, the same strange pull is in his technique. Recognition crashes in, clarity blinding and swift. His blows use a force that yanks everything nearby toward him. That drag sparks the memory of her grandfather studying a corpse. Her grandfather named the killer a Habes punk clan master who wielded Oho Damun. Eid said, the sword style explodes bones through internal power, but leaves no visible wounds. Now, she shouts the techniques and clan's names. Her foe flinches in shock. He demands how she knows his style. As her memory plays on, her grandfather taught her that the absorption move is a basic force art, sucking in everything near. Every move throws opponents off, wrecking their attacks and stance. That's why the Pink Clan devours frantic foes like tigers hunt prey. But that same lesson warned, It's risky, dragging the user into danger too. She remembers the weakness, flips the absorption move against him, gripping tighter for a bold counter. Instead of resisting, she follows the pull and pushes her sword straight at him. Leaping into his attack, he calls himself Ping AK of Hub and vows to end the demonic sex seeds, channeling his clan's full cause into the strike. She sharpens her attention, timing the moment his attack is locked in. Then, instead of letting him pull her weapon, she jams her sword into the ground. Ping freezes. Shocked, she's grounded her blade and broken his technique. She swings around the platted sword, countering from a blind angle. Her strike hits hard, shoving him back and making him cough blood. He reels, forced on defensive as she regains stance with a surge of confidence. Her win proves his style's flaws, though Pak brushes it off as a cheap trick to save face. She knows the blow isn't final, but now sees the clear path to win. Convinced she's found a counter, she readies a sharper response. Another lesson returns. True speed happens in that heartbeat when blades collide. It's the late strike trick by switching the absorption. A sword can move quicker than the eye. She stops pushing against him, lets the force pull her, and right at impact, twists it through her blade. Pang swoops in confident his trap has her, but she attacks from below, breaking his pattern. Then, right at the finish, she snaps the blade's direction. The split-second swap nails Ping AK mid-jump before he can react. He barely deflects, stunned by a speed he can barely believe. Landing rough, he wonders if she's somehow using the absorption herself. He denies it, insisting no rookie could control the white tiger palm's pull so well. She beats him again, making it clear it wasn't luck. Her sword keeps breaking through, getting faster each time. Now she gets it. The more power he uses, the quicker she can strike back. His skill only makes her sword faster. She flashes by and slices through. Payne's patience thins as his confidence shakes. Suddenly, he senses a change in the fight's rhythm. The absorbing force vanishes exactly when he needs it. Even without it, he pushes on, fighting hard and recognizing her strength. He lunges with a precise slash. Sure, he's trapped her for good, but she's been waiting just for this chance. He gives up the pull. She activates Firestorm Sword Hall's leading move, Mystic Profound Sword Technique. Her calm turns cold as the defensive technique bursts around her. A fiery red storm rises, devouring his attack instantly. The clash ends. Both stand apart, breathless aftermath between them. She has blood on her face, proof she took the hit instead of dodging. Ping AK also thinks he has made it through alive. A hidden effect hits as blood erupts. Her attack turns defense into pain. The force staggers him. As he falls, he grasps how she caught him. She quietly reveals the move and calls it a true risk. She shares that switching Mystic Profound Sword into offense meant taking every blow until her opening. PK kneels, shocked and bloodied, asking if she's just leaving like this. She insists her revenge is none of his business. He shifts from doubt to reluctant respect. She tells him farewell and turns away without regret. She retreats silently, already done with the duel in her mind. Behind her, Ping AK fights to his feet, refusing to yield. Yet his body collapses under what she dealt out. Still, someone else draws close behind him. A newcomer wonders if the long journey was really just to kill someone as minor as her. The masked demon tags Ping from Habong, admitting he was useful even for a standard fighter. Ping AK bitterly sees the demon knew his intent the whole time. The demon jeers that Ping underestimated the demon's sword. With a sharp goodbye, the demon strikes. The night mountain looms silent over the swift kill. The forest canopy shivers before settling into quiet as violence fades. The demon calmly steps away from the kill, unhurried. Elsewhere, the swordswoman weakens as exhaustion and pain hit her all at once. Blood streaks over her hand, showing she's wounded. She sinks down, her sword sliding loose as she loses her grip. Her breath turns rough, eyes stinging with pain. The killing demon finds her, calling her name. Shuojinha, battered, can only glare up in defiance. He says she was hit by a Gami needle from Helbi Blood Fortress, warning she'll die if she flees without an antidote. A wounded swordsman angrily sees that these foes use teamwork and poison, exposing his solo fighting limits. As enemies surround him, one notes his attempt to switch sword hands, revealing his weak side. She presses him, saying no skilled right-handed swordsman can suddenly fight well with the left. She tells him they figured him out and orders him to stop resisting. He refuses to surrender, bracing as they attack and sink. The attackers come from all sides, mixing blades with hidden weapons. He tries to cut through, but the pressure grows. Another poison needle pierces him, worsening things fast. He knows the poison will kill unless he finds antidote very soon. Still, the enemy surges ahead to finish him off before he recovers. Ready to die anyway, he puts everything on one last attack. Before he moves, sudden chaos interrupts, stunning him. A rival falls, cut down by an unseen ambusher, making everyone hunt for the new threat. The newcomer dives into the group and attacks, while surviving foes reel as the ambush turns their way. He instantly sees the one who interfered is far more lethal than they guessed. The mysterious fighter draws a blade, steady and precise. Seizing control in seconds, the newcomer slashes through the nearby trainees, scattering them fast. Staring at the bloodshed, he's shocked at how fast the power shift happened. When the violence ends, Bodies litter the clearing, leaving only a handful alive. The attacker turns out to be a cool-headed young swordswoman, calm among corpses, her sword stained. He chokes down his terror, realizing she could end him too. Panicked, he claims he means no harm to keep her near. She pauses just enough to search one body without letting him out of her sight. She finds an antidote and knows it will make facing the hellish blood castle easier. Sensing his hope die, he pleads as she leaves. She stops and icily asks what he wants. He confesses the hellish blood castle poisoned him, and he has barely 10 minutes before it takes hold. She cuts him off, making it clear she came to kill and only ignores him because he's insignificant. He snaps that leaving him is basically killing a rival through neglect. He offers a deal, give him the antidote, and he'll join her side. She doesn't budge, asking why she should bother making the bargain. He points out only 20 trainees are left, most in groups. He warns her, even she can't take on every group alone, and says he knows their martial arts well. Trying harder, he promises total loyalty if she saves him. Judging his character, she thinks he won't stab an ally in the back. Still wary, she asks his terms. He proposes they ally honestly until only they remain. She studies him, weighing the deal. He waits, tense, as his future hangs on her decision. She stares at the antidote and finally acts. She tosses him the antidote, sealing both the pact and his shot at survival. He grabs it, stunned, ready to thank her, but she's distracted by a signal just as he opens the bottle. She hears the sound and suspects a new restricted area just appeared. She orders them to leave fast, but he objects this spot doesn't look closed off. She makes him realize that most of the island shut down, so survivors will flood here with the new restriction. The warning comes too late, as footsteps close in fast. A hostile trainee steps out first, grinning at the trap. More show up with hidden weapons and set techniques. Extra fighters emerge, proving several groups teamed up. Seconds later, the two allies are completely surrounded. She sees the new restriction pulled the last trainee here, making escape impossible now. Among the group, strangers stare with eerie calm. A woman with a red ribbon smiles, looking certain they've already won. Yuniel spots one man and instantly knows he's far more dangerous. A mocking enemy laughs and says, whatever their grudges, everyone wants these two dead first. Her teammate calls Yuniel by name and says he learned the beast path from the Wandering Beast Pavilion. He names Seo Jinha too, praising her sword skill and how deeply she's researched the competition. Hearing their names, Seo Jinha knows the factions are trading info and collaborating. The two allies shoot each other a tense look, realizing their situation is dire. Despite the pressure, he finally rubs antidote on his poisoned wound. Shojin Hyu recognizes his bottle as the same powdered antidote and knows what's coming. Byung-seol flings the powder, declaring that using the blood castle poison on their foes is their only shot. A thick purple cloud bursts out, shaking up the enemy's ring. The crowd panics, recognizing the poison, scrambling for safety. In the turmoil, Seo Jinha and Bunyel smash through and escape. A pursuer figures out the trick and yells at the others to calm down. He shouts, it's fake, not real poison. Bunyel was bluffing, but the trick worked perfectly. While fleeing, he knows open fighting means death and that they need tighter ground. Seo Jinha quickly agrees, mentioning a cave perfect for defense, narrow entrance, and long haul kill the enemy advantage. Yuniel is impressed by her strategy and starts doubting his own fighting style's simple reputation. Following her, he wonders about her identity. The rest regroup and chase them with force. The pair run side by side, trying to outpace the hunters. At the rocks, weird fog already fills the area. Bunyel thinks they're safe now, but the cave entrance is shrouded in odd mist, blocking them and flipping the mood. Both sense at once this fog is new and something is horribly wrong. Red-eyed, hooded shapes take form in the mist. More masked figures appear, turning the fog from possible shelter into a threat-lined border. They realize this is forbidden ground full of violent demons, and someone wanted them led here. Seo Jinha realizes the restriction exists because their enemies knew they'd target the rocks. Bio asks what to do now. She points out the demons stay passive unless they cross the line. Knowing they must fight, she says the border will act as their wall, guarding their backs from attack. Bunyel agrees and braces for a last stand. The two stand back to back, trusting their newly made pact. Chasers close in, jeering that escape isn't an option now. Enemies tighten their formation, narrowing escape. Top trainees step forward as one. Sure, their numbers are unstoppable. Bai and Seo Jinha lift their swords together, guarding blind spots. The killer demons linger, turning fog into a lethal bottleneck. An enemy leader decides they can't risk leaving the two alive, ordering a full assault. Attackers charge together in a single, brutal rush. Invisible watchers spy from a far-off ridge, scanning the nightlit battle. An elder observer predicts this moment will decide the true 10 demon masters. As they whisper, chaos erupts below. Blades and deadly weapons fly first at the defenders. Seo Jinha lunges out, intercepting the first attack before it pins them. She shreds through the flying weapons, spinning the defense into attack. Bio's blade sweeps out in a killing arc, breaking momentum on his side. He smashes through an enemy, forcing others to pull back. Still moving, he plows through with savage force, cutting forward despite wounds. During the chaos, he spots something unusual in the battle's pattern. He meets a direct blow and senses a hidden, familiar technique inside it. An enemy move triggers memory, not just alarm in his head. Shio senses the shift too, realizing danger is about to turn their mistake against them. They fall back against each other, snatching a quick breath. Pressure keeps building. Bodies drop, but death only makes room for fresh attackers. Bunyo's sword shakes, worn thin by non-stop blows. Cracks threaten. Any more force and it might snap. For the first time, dying here seems possible. He steels himself, telling his heart he's done all he can. Shio catches that and silently doubts him. Memories flash, his old master's guiding hand, then the same master, peaceful and bloodied, leaving one last lesson. Jinha snaps to attention as Bunyo readies himself, refusing death, digging deep for more resolve. Meanwhile, Shio faces assassins swarming in from every side. She tightens her grip, ready to follow her gut, not her mind. She tears out with one sweeping strike, blasting every attacker at once. The attackers fall mid-surge. She lands standing over their bodies. With most gone, one enemy lunges in, trying to strike while she recovers. Bunyo counters, ripping through the assault, stunning all who witness. The enemy stumbles back, unable to name the sword art. Seeing his talent, the foes all target Bunyo first. As they charge, he remembers his master move with sharpened senses. The lesson echoes. Trust gut over logic. Suddenly, he realizes the master's technique flows through him now. He sees differently. The battle opens up, enemy lines set to be carved. He erupts forward, cutting down foes in a single, brutal burst. Onlookers reel, stunned as his power suddenly surges. When he stops, fresh bodies pile up, their line broken again. Shio recognizes Pavilion Master Saw's technique and guesses Bunyo inherited greatness. But a new threat sneaks up from behind as an unseen foe stabs fast where she falters. She twists too late, certain she'll be hit as the attacker thinks victory is his. Bunyo bursts in, catching the deadly strike with his bare hand, stopping it with raw power. His grip locks the blade and shuts down the assassin's chance. He fires back instantly, shredding the attacker with a forceful blast. The enemy is thrown aside as shockwaves rip the field open. Shio watches Bunyo save her, while another enemy hisses that he's still done for. Someone refuses to let Bunyo give up, urging him to rise as he bleeds and gasps for air. Suddenly, he's horrified to realize he's inside the island's forbidden zone. The shock lingers. He never expected to reach this forbidden place. A masked, red-eyed figure stands over him in the mist. Just before the masked killer strikes, blinding light slashes through the air. Yuniel sees the move in a reflection of his eye. Someone else is stepping in. A storm of rage sounds. The heavy weight of real power has entered. The head instructor appears, crushes the attack, and stuns the crowd. Everyone freezes, realizing the trial has just stopped. Yuniel can barely follow as the head instructor steps up, openly saving him, leaving Yuniel in awe. He sees his savior is Master Sawu and reels in confusion. The truth hits hard, and silence is all he has left. Sawu ends the trial right there, ordering them to save the dying boy. He shouts for a healer. Others warn halting the third trial will cause chaos. Yet Sawu boldly chooses trouble over Bunyol's death. His determination rattles everyone who sees it. In secret, Sawu admits he's found the gifted one he always hoped for. He's sure Bunyol's instincts, intent, and energy can make him a future demon master. Later, Sawu faces the elders, who say the plan was 10 heirs and 2 prodigies to spy for the demon masters. By saving 2 more, he's ruined the system, bumping 12 prospects up to 14. Sawu accepts his fate without protest, so calm that even the elder judging him is unsettled by his resolve. They worry how the 10 demonic sex emissaries will take the news of the outcome. Saw still believes the sex representatives will understand his reasons. Time passes, the island holds its breath, racing for what's next, but Yuniel lies unconscious, recovering under watchful care in a treatment room. Finally, he wakes up. He blinks at his surroundings, unsure where he is, but medicinal scents reveal he's in a healing ward, not prison. When he inspects himself further, he notices something unbelievable. Both surface wounds and even the fatal internal damage have vanished. He's stunned. The demon palace's healer is beyond skilled. Hearing voices, he carefully opens the door. He steps out, awed by the hidden, expansive compound. A servant greets him as young master and asks him to come along. Still weak but curious, he follows, startled by what appears inside. The restricted center is no dungeon. It's an inner stronghold, alive with daily routines. Peering out, he sees a secret town at the island center. When he asks his location, he hears plainly, "This is Hell Island Center." Only now does he understand why the place was sealed off during inspection. Seated at last, he's surprised by the warm welcome and asks what he'd like. Still lost, he hesitates, struggling to make sense of all this. Finally, he asks for 2 bowls of noodles. His wish is granted, no questions asked. When the noodles arrive, something inside him stirs deeply. Warm memories flood back sharing noodles with his grandfather, and loss slams him quietly. Despite being with servants, that memory leaves him feeling alone. Seojin enters, teasing that he must really love noodles to want to. She sits across, hesitates, then finally talks about what happened between them. Her confidence breaks for once. She thanks him deeply for saving her. Yuniel, unaware of saving her, is baffled by her thanks. Soo Jin-ha says he killed the enemy and asks if he really doesn't get what that meant. She reminds him the original plan allowed only 12 to survive the third trial until the head instructor saved Bunyel. The survivors became 14. Her thanks are for that because she lived due to his actions. Seeing he's still lost, she realizes he's been unconscious and tells him it was 4 days. He's shocked, thinking just 1 day passed. Shojina says he only survived because the mad physician was nearby. She tells his legend, once called the Divine Hand, madness took him when he lost the woman he loved. Still, his skill lets him save anyone with a hint of life. It sharpens Blinzio's sorrow that his grandfather missed such a healer. Shojinha keeps talking, half worry, half old friendship. She breaks down the real story. Their enemies weren't random killers. They were martial masters from the 10 demonic sects, judging and picking successors. Bunyel gets why they were as strong as instructors. He finally asks what haunts him. Why did the head instructor save him? Seo Jin-ha admits that confused her too, since Saul wanted him as a 10-demon master. Bunyel insists he never knew Sa or tied to him through his sect. That only deepens the mystery when Seo Jin-ha reveals Sha took a heavy punishment and lost his post for helping. Bunyel is left restless, wrestling with a sacrifice he can't explain. Suddenly, a massive bell sounds through the compound. Jio Jinhu instantly knows. It's time. She explains the bell calls all left on Hell Island. The 10 demonic sects' emissaries and leaders arrive to collect successors. The secret stronghold welcomes the meeting. Surviving candidates gather in a vast hall, waiting for judgment. The Yuniel examines the space, trying to catch the mood. The silence unsettles him the most. Powerful figures move, but not a step is heard. Their presence feels unreal. Sect leaders prowl before the survivors, scanning for their next pick. An elder eyes the crowd, ready to choose. He singles out a blonde survivor. The necromancer vice master asks if young Manhwa will join their ranks. Bunyel reacts, caught off guard by the first offer. Young Manhwa feels stunned to be picked. The elder confirms and calls him over. Young Manhwa insists he's only learned swordplay, never touched a spear. The elder waves away his doubt. He argues Yang Manho's body and skills are perfect for necromancy, and failing with the sword proves he was misled. Overwhelmed, Yang Manhwa follows the elder. Eager, a new representative takes his spot. He announces himself as Jet Yahan, Vice Castle Master of the Hellish Blood Castle and Master of Poisons. The survivors instantly recognize the infamous poison artist, whose gestures spell death. Jig Yahan turns to Seo Jinha, asking if she'll join the Hellish Blood Castle. The offer leaves her stunned and off balance. She can't believe a sword prodigy is wanted by poison artists. Jik Jawan says the most powerful poison is a venomous heart. He reveals he knows she used a girl from his castle's martial office to try to wipe out rivals before the third trial. He adds that she silenced her accomplice afterward. Sheo Jinha insists the girl attacked her first, so silencing isn't fair. Jik Yahan brushes off her defense, stating he doesn't judge her for it. To him, her ruthlessness proves she's made for poison arts. He claims pure sword talent won't get her far, since only the rarest ever rule by the blade. To his mind, her real gift for poison outmatches her sword skills. Sheo Jinha goes quiet, rattled by his accuracy. Binio listens harder, drawn in by talks of chosen swordsmen. He remembers rumors about someone quickly mastering the sword to heights others chase for 10 years. That realization solidifies Sheo Jinha's resolve. She accepts Jik Yahan's offer to join the Hellish Blood Castle. Jik Yahan is satisfied she agreed. He tells her to follow. She steps away from the survivors' line. Another representative steps up, commanding the room as he moves in crimson robes. He says he's Wyakan, sword demon of Fire Rain sword sect and top demonic path swordsman. Bunyel reels from the name. Everyone knows this legendary undefeated blade. The hall tenses, all eyes on Wyakan as he selects Bunyel. Wyakan calls him out publicly and pins him before the crowd. He commends Bunyel for embracing the Wandering Beast Pavilion master's beliefs and winning elders' praise. He says not even his swordsmanship can gauge the boy and awaits Bunyel's future. Bunyel feels both honored and threatened as executives judge him, knowing his potential. He hesitates, steadying himself for his reply. His answer stuns everyone. He won't join the Fire Rain sword sect. Wyakan freezes in shock. Bunyel repeats his refusal firmly. Wyakan's deadly fury bursts out. Furious, a mere trainee rejects him. Bunyel forces his voice past the pressure, reminding them rejection is a candidate's right. He refuses to budge, demanding his right to choose. Even now, Wyakan mocks him, asking where he dares to go. Despite the fear, Buniel says he wishes to join the Wandering Beast Pavilion. Wyakan cedes, unable to fathom anyone picking the weakened pavilion over him. He ridicules the pavilion, and the trainees panic after Buniel publicly offends two sects. Still, Bunyel stands firm as Wyakan's aura nearly shreds him apart. Everyone recalls why Wyakan is top swordsman. Then another leader moves to protect Bunyel. The crowd senses a violent showdown brewing for Bunyel's fate. Bunyel knows the intervening man instantly, body tensing with hostility. He insults Sawu for meddling, calling him a powerless secret pavilion master. Wyakan's hand drifts to his sword, showing he's ready to kill for this. Witnesses are stunned. Anyone would challenge the sword demon so boldly. Saw sees things slipping fast from his hands. Bunyel knows Sawu only pushes this far because of Pavilion Master Jean's backing. Still, he pushes forward. Saw panics, If the sword demon snaps, the other candidates may be slaughtered, so he has to stop it now. Everything boils over as the sword demon's blade nearly clears its sheath. Suddenly, someone breaks the deadly tension before disaster strikes. Disaster stops at the last moment. Dan Chong enters, clearly amused at everyone's tension. With a relaxed order, the Vice Master steps in and instantly ends the conflict. From the back, Yuniel watches as Dan Chong swiftly seizes control, holding his symbol of authority to show he's in charge. Yuniel narrows his eyes, now certain this cheerful man is dangerous. Dan Chong introduces himself, asking Yuniel to drop it, for his sake. The elders agree fast, pointing out someone had to join the Wandering Beast Pavilion anyway. Yuniel studies Dan Chong, deciding if he'll concede. Both Sawu and the candidate stare, awaiting any move toward more violence. Sawu tenses, forced to just wait as the decision hangs in the air. Yuniel finally gives in, warning Dan Chong that one more minute and he couldn't hold back. Dan Chong smiles, accepting the win he always expected, while the shaking candidate realizes he narrowly escaped death. Dan Chong tells the candidate to follow, and without a word, he does. Leaving, the candidate can't forget the sword demon's deadly aura, knowing the risk was real. Yuniel stands alone, watching the Wandering Beast Pavilion recruit disappear. The candidate keeps replaying it, knowing without Dan Chong, he'd be dead. Sawu forces a bitter smile, unable to save him. Dan Chong leads the way, with his silent, watchful companion in tow. On the way, the escort praises the candidate, but he humbly says his teacher deserves the credit. The escort is shocked he picked the Wandering Beast Pavilion. The candidate says their ideals fit him, as Dan Chong announces their arrival with cheer. He reveals the Wandering Beast Pavilion isn't a fortress, but a lively town woven with work and trade. The candidate is shocked. This place is nothing like he'd pictured. He expected a grim sect, but discovers a vibrant, almost homely world. Dan Chong says they're different from controlling sects. Their focus is self-reliance. Shock fades fast as the candidate worries about fitting in. Seeing only elders, he wonders if anyone here is near his age. Dan Chong pauses stiffly, confessing that young disciples once flocked here, but most ran away or died training. The candidate takes it in stride, clearly weighed down by the stark warning. Dan Chong gestures to a worn hut and coolly tells him this is where he'll live. He adds, for repairs, get help and tools from the man standing nearby. That's Wangle, the pavilion's blacksmith. Dan Chong turns to go with Sawu, visibly done. Surprised to be left alone, the candidate learns Sawu is only the secret pavilion master, unable to stand up to the sword demon, so now he must pay the price for that loss. Worried about this, the candidate is calmed when his master says it's just a minor punishment and should be over quickly. Saul playfully smacks his back, warning no slacking. Wangle's watching. The candidate quietly adjusts and faces the separation with steadier nerves. Sawu leaves, asking him to look out for himself. Dan Chong stops him from claiming the Wandering Beast Pavilion just yet. Confused, the candidate hears Dan Chong's line, being picked as a demon master doesn't make you a true disciple. Dan Chong states the rule, only the strong succeed here. The blunt standard rattles the candidate. Catching on, he asks if strength is all he needs. Dan Chong agrees, ignoring rituals. Disciples are the pavilion's true image. Bloodlines and rituals fall away, only strength counts. It's simple. Master martial arts, grow stronger, and gain respect through sheer power. Anyone might mentor him, but only if they want. Next day, he climbs Iron Peak, searching for the promised master of internal energy cultivation. Breathless from climbing, he halts at the top, struggling to calm down. Alone on a narrow ledge above the pavilion, he feels isolated. Remembering Dan Chong, he wonders if he's close, recalling a master is waiting. Dan Chong promised the finest cultivation method could be learned here. Finally, he stands on the actual summit. Peering over, someone appears. A voice instantly asks if he is one of the new 10 demon masters. A scarred, monk-like fighter stands alone at the peak. The man instantly knows the candidate wants to learn internal energy. He shocks the candidate, claiming he sees an energy base and doesn't need more techniques. He senses massive sensi radiating from the candidate, the result of years of hidden training. The candidate denies any method, saying he only grew up as a mortician's kid. The monk decides there are only two options left. He reasons the candidate is lying or somehow mastered true ki in his sleep. The candidate insists it's the truth, telling the man to check himself. The monk inspects him with grudging seriousness. The candidate dares him to destroy his true ki if he doubts, proving nothing is hidden. He boldly accepts the risk, showing total commitment. The monk clasps his wrist, starting a deep check. What he feels leaves him visibly shocked. He discovers huge true ki inside, yet no formal technique shapes it. Somehow the candidate stockpiled energy in his danshin without proper training, and that's unthinkable. The candidate bears the intense scan, trembling. The monk demands to know who taught true chi. He presses, desperate for the source of this rare power. The candidate is floored by the monk's obsession with his background. Pinned in place, he can only ask what the monk truly means. The monk pivots, asking if he'd learned to quiet his mind or breathe in special ways. A memory pops up, his grandfather's odd breathing drill. He silently mimics that breath, slipping right into the old pattern. His breathing instantly rouses the true ki, which erupts visibly. The monk is in awe. This means he can circulate kai even while upright, marking a rare technique. He orders him to stop fast, then asks if his grandfather taught that skill. The candidate says yes, recalling his grandfather's tip for breathing in coffins. The monk says this was a true chi gathering method, not just a comfort trick, unable to release power itself. He says the candidate has stashed 10 years worth of energy already and asks his grandfather's name. He replies, Bujung. That name instantly tells the monk only one person in the martial world could match it. He calls Bian, the ex-vice master of the demon palace, and wants the strongest blade in the demonic path. This truth leaves the candidate in shocked silence. He now fears the kindly mortician he called grandfather might have ruled the demonic world. The monk wrestles with how such a legend ended as a simple mortician, but he spots another puzzle. Zhang Yang's teachings are pure Shaolin, not demonic. Again, the candidate is shaken, realizing his grandfather may have walked both orthodox and demonic paths. He immediately knows if anyone learns this, he could lose not just his title, but his very life. The monk assures him, the demon palace probably knows and chose to trust him anyway. He pledges to teach him regardless of his roots. To repay the Wandering Beast Pavilion, he becomes stern, making it clear the breathing method is never to be shared. If even a piece is revealed, he will wipe out the candidate and everyone near. The candidate accepts this without fear. He seals the vow with a salute. The monk nods and moves on. After scrutinizing once more, he chooses to introduce himself properly. He announces his name, Yahello Young. The candidate gets thrown by the odd Dharma name. Sensing it's off, Yahello Young quickly shifts the topic and quizzes about orthodox versus demonic internal energy. The candidate admits he doesn't know. Yahello Young explains, orthodox methods flow with the body's natural rhythm. Demonic ways, in contrast, crush through limits for fast progress. This ruthlessness creates instant power, but savages the body, hiding deadly costs, so those patient orthodox masters earn pure, powerful energy in the long run. Yahello Young claims his method tops most demonic arts, calling it a miracle, but warns it exacts a heavy toll. Still, the candidate listens, unflinching. Yahello Young admits training hurt so badly he once bit off and swallowed his own fingers. Only those who withstand unbearable pain, he says, can truly master their internal energy. He shares how he was framed for murder as Azure Dragon Temple's marshal in Yan'an, sealed away, and later saved by the Wandering Beast Pavilion, to whom he owes this technique. Passing on this technique is his promise, so he's testing if the candidate deserves it. This test is merciless. He'll hit all 365 acupuncture points at once to open every vessel inside. He warns, normally this takes time and care. Doing it instantly causes intense pain, so there's still a chance to back out. The candidate barely hesitates, accepts instantly, and pledges to see it through. Haijonggang, satisfied, unleashes his skill and warns, there's no turning back now. Golden Truchi blasts into the candidate, sending shockwaves and flooding the summit in blinding light. Energy rips through the air, raw and violent. Yahello Young surges the chi everywhere at once, likening the agony to scraping bones raw. He braces, watching to see the candidate crack, but then spots something strange. Instead of cries, the candidate stays eerily calm right in the center of agony. Strangest of all, no ugly impurities are expelled from the candidate at all. Junggong suddenly doubts everything, suspecting the candidate's body is truly abnormal. He checks again, and golden light fades. Then an impossible truth lingers around them. The candidate endures like his body was already suited for cleansing. A grim smile hints that the boy never had any corrupt energy to cleanse. That flips his entire view on the boy's abilities. Studying him, the monk realizes he's found someone special, Yuniel, and chooses to take him in. He offers Yuniel his unique energy cultivation method, committing as his new master. Half a year flies by on the mountain. By now, Yuniel is changed.